stand up right now. Seriously, pause whatever you are doing and stand up. Take 5 slow steps across the room. Now, stop and be completely honest with yourself. Did your legs feel heavy the moment you rose? Did your calves feel like they were wrapped in tight bands? Did it take a few seconds before your feet actually felt like they belonged to your body? That sluggishness, that stiffness, that dull, unresponsive feeling, most people chalk it up to getting older. They shrug it off. They sit back down. But here is what no one ever tells you, and this is the part that genuinely shocked me when I first understood it. What you just felt in those legs is not aging. It is not arthritis. It is not laziness. What you felt is your legs slowly suffocating. And the worst part is that it has been happening quietly, a little more every single day without a single alarm going off. I know suffocating sounds dramatic, but when you understand what is actually happening inside your legs at a physiological level, no other word fits. The blood vessels in your legs are not delivering enough oxygen-rich blood to your muscles, your nerves, and your joints. And without that blood flow, those tissues are starving. Slowly, silently, relentlessly. Now here is the thing that terrifies me as a physician. Most people experience this and assume it is just the natural cost of living a long life. So they slow down. They stop going on walks. They sit more. And that sitting makes the blood flow problem worse, which makes the legs feel heavier, which makes them sit even more. It is a vicious downward spiral that accelerates faster than most people ever realize. And by the time they take it seriously, years of unnecessary decline have already passed. But here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. The blood vessels inside your legs are not permanently broken. They are not beyond saving. The same vessels that feel rigid and unresponsive today still contain the biological machinery to dilate, to flex, to pump blood the way they did when you were 30 years younger. That machinery is still in there. It is just dormant. It has been gradually shut down by 3 things: declining nitric oxide production, chronic low-grade inflammation, and something called endothelial dysfunction. These are not vague medical buzzwords. They are specific, measurable, reversible processes. And what I am about to show you is exactly how 5 specific drinks made from ingredients you can find in any grocery store can switch that machinery back on. Not with vague wellness claims, with real, published, peer-reviewed science. My name is Dr. Thomas Reed, and today I am going to walk you through each of these 5 drinks one by one. Not just what they do, but how they do it. Step by step inside your body, targeting the exact mechanisms that have been stealing circulation from your legs for years. By the end of this, you are not just going to know what to drink. You are going to understand why it works. And that understanding is what turns a temporary experiment into a permanent life change. So let us get into it, starting with the single most powerful natural blood flow booster ever studied in modern science. Drink number 1 is beetroot juice. I want to be very clear about something before I explain the science. When I say this is the most powerful natural nitric oxide booster ever studied, I am not being dramatic or promotional. The research on beetroot juice is extraordinarily consistent across dozens of independent studies, and nothing else comes close to the magnitude of blood flow increase it produces. Beetroot juice is loaded with inorganic nitrate, and 1 glass of concentrated beetroot juice contains more dietary nitrate than almost any other food source on the planet. When you drink it, your body kicks off a fascinating chain of events. The nitrate is absorbed through your small intestine and enters your bloodstream. From there, roughly 1/4 of it is deliberately concentrated into your salivary glands. This is not random. Your body does this on purpose because of what happens next. Bacteria living on the back surface of your tongue convert that nitrate into something called nitrite. This is a critical step. and it is why I will tell you later to never use antiseptic mouthwash anywhere near the time you drink beet juice. Those bacteria are essential. Killing them with mouthwash completely destroys the conversion process and wipes out every blood flow benefit you would have received. Think about that. A habit that most people consider healthy is actually working against the very thing their body is trying to do. The nitrite then gets swallowed and enters the acidic environment of your stomach, where it is converted into nitric oxide. This newly produced nitric oxide floods your blood vessels and causes them to dilate, reducing blood pressure and dramatically increasing blood flow. The published science shows that the greatest improvements happen in the peripheral vasculature, meaning the blood vessels furthest from your heart. Your legs, your feet, the exact places where the problem is worst. A study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found something that I think is one of the most practically meaningful findings in all of nutrition science. Older adults who consumed beetroot juice showed a reduced oxygen cost during walking. In plain language, their legs required less oxygen to do the same amount of work because the oxygen available was being delivered more efficiently. That means you can walk further before your legs feel heavy. You can climb stairs with less effort. You can play with grandchildren, walk through a grocery store, cross a parking lot without that familiar crushing fatigue setting in. A separate study tested beetroot juice in patients with peripheral artery disease, the most extreme form of impaired leg circulation, and found a 16% increase in exercise time before pain onset. 16% from a single dietary drink. That number represents real life. That is the difference between making it to the end of the block or stopping halfway. Beets also contain compounds called betalains, the pigments that give them that deep crimson color. Betalains are powerful anti-inflammatory agents that protect the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels from oxidative damage. Remember, those endothelial cells are the ones producing your nitric oxide. If they are damaged, they produce less, and your vessels constrict. Beets are also rich in potassium, which counteracts the effects of sodium on blood pressure, promoting vessel relaxation and reducing fluid retention in the lower legs. To prepare this properly, juice 2 medium beets, add half a green apple, add a small piece of fresh ginger, and drink it in the morning on an empty stomach. The nitric oxide boost begins within 2 to 3 hours and can last up to 24 hours. And remember, no antibacterial mouthwash anywhere near this drink. Drink number 2 is pomegranate juice, and it works through mechanisms that are entirely different from beetroot, which is exactly why together they are more powerful than either one alone. While beetroot juice provides the raw material for nitric oxide, pomegranate juice protects and repairs the machinery that produces it. Here is a critical concept. Your endothelial cells produce nitric oxide using an enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase. When this enzyme is healthy, your blood vessels dilate on demand. But after 60, something goes wrong. This enzyme does not just slow down. It actually starts producing a damaging molecule called superoxide instead of nitric oxide. This process is called uncoupling, and it is one of the most destructive events in vascular aging. Your own vasodilator machinery turns against you, producing the very molecule that damages your blood vessels instead of the one that protects them. Pomegranate juice directly reverses this uncoupling. The compounds in pomegranate, specifically the punicalagins and elagitannins, have been shown to shift that enzyme back from producing superoxide to producing nitric oxide. A landmark study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences demonstrated that pomegranate juice consumption reversed endothelial dysfunction in human subjects and increased nitric oxide availability. But pomegranate also does something else that most people never think about. Even when your body is producing nitric oxide, that nitric oxide can be destroyed before it reaches its target. Superoxide, floating freely in your bloodstream, reacts with nitric oxide almost instantly, converting it into a toxic compound before it ever gets a chance to relax your vessel walls. Pomegranate's extraordinary antioxidant capacity neutralizes that superoxide, protecting the nitric oxide long enough to do its job. In standardized antioxidant testing, pomegranate juice scores higher than red wine, green tea, cranberry juice, and orange juice combined. That antioxidant power translates directly into protection of your blood flow pathways. A clinical study tracked patients with peripheral artery disease who drank pomegranate juice daily for 1 year. The results showed significant reductions in arterial wall thickness, indicating actual reversal of plaque buildup. Not management. Reversal. And there is one more dimension to pomegranate that most sources never mention. The compounds in pomegranate are metabolized by your gut bacteria into a molecule called urolithin A, which has been shown to improve mitochondrial function in muscle cells. Your leg muscles are packed with mitochondria that power every step you take. When those mitochondria are old and damaged, your legs fatigue faster. Urolithin A triggers the cleanup and replacement of those damaged mitochondria with fresh, efficient ones. A clinical trial published in Nature Metabolism confirmed that urolithin A improved endurance and reduced muscle fatigue in older adults. Drink 1 cup of pure pomegranate juice daily, with a meal, with a squeeze of fresh lemon to enhance absorption. Drink number 3 is hibiscus tea. And this one is the drink I wish more physicians knew about, because the clinical evidence behind it is remarkably strong, and yet almost no one talks about it. Hibiscus tea is brewed from the dried petals of the Hibiscus sabdorifa plant and has been used for centuries across Africa, the Middle East, and Central America. Modern science has now validated those ancient uses in ways that are genuinely striking. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Hypertension found that hibiscus tea produced clinically significant reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, comparable in magnitude to some first-line medications. And for your legs, this matters enormously. High blood pressure creates turbulent blood flow that erodes and damages the endothelial lining of your vessels, triggering inflammation and plaque formation. Lower blood pressure means less mechanical stress, better endothelial function, more nitric oxide, and wider, more relaxed blood vessels. But hibiscus goes far beyond just blood pressure. It contains a unique anthocyanin compound that has been shown to inhibit an enzyme called angiotensin-converting enzyme. If that name sounds familiar, it should. That is the exact same enzyme targeted by an entire class of widely prescribed blood pressure medications. Hibiscus inhibits it naturally, preventing the formation of a powerful vessel constrictor called angiotensin II, and allowing your vessels to remain relaxed and open. Hibiscus also contains organic acids that reduce blood viscosity, meaning it literally makes your blood thinner and more free-flowing. After 60, blood tends to get thicker due to elevated fibrinogen and changes in plasma proteins. Thicker blood moves sluggishly through the small vessels of your lower legs, contributing to that heavy, swollen, dragging feeling. By reducing blood viscosity, hibiscus helps blood move more freely through every capillary bed in your legs, allowing more efficient oxygen exchange and better return flow through the veins. There is also evidence that the polyphenols in hibiscus slow the breakdown of the structural proteins in your vein walls. The enzymes that degrade collagen and elastin become more active with age, while your ability to produce new collagen decreases. The result is progressively weaker vein walls, poor valve function, varicose veins, and chronic swelling. Hibiscus inhibits these degrading enzymes, while the vitamin C in hibiscus supports the production of new collagen. It simultaneously slows the breakdown and promotes the rebuilding. To prepare this properly, use 2 tablespoons of dried hibiscus petals per cup of boiling water and steep for 15 to 20 minutes. That longer steep time is critical. A 5-minute steep gives you a pleasant drink. A 20-minute steep gives you the full pharmacological benefit. Drink 2 to 3 cups daily and feel confident doing so in the evening. because hibiscus is naturally caffeine-free and will not disrupt your sleep. Drink number 4 is a ginger and cayenne circulation tonic, and this one is different from everything we have discussed so far. While the previous 3 drinks work gradually by improving endothelial function over days and weeks, this tonic delivers something immediate. You will feel it working within minutes of drinking it. Cayenne pepper contains a compound called capsaicin, the molecule responsible for heat in hot peppers. But capsaicin does something remarkable inside your blood vessels. It activates a specific receptor on the surface of your endothelial cells, which triggers the release of a neuropeptide called calcitonin gene-related peptide. This peptide is one of the most potent vasodilators known to science. It causes profound relaxation of vascular smooth muscle, and blood flow to your peripheral tissues increases measurably within minutes. Your skin may flush. Your hands and feet may feel warm. That warmth is not just a sensation. It is the physical manifestation of blood actually arriving in places it had not been reaching properly. Capsaicin is particularly effective in the legs because the receptors it activates are densely concentrated in the peripheral vasculature. Your feet, your calves, your toes, these are precisely the areas that respond most powerfully. Capsaicin also inhibits platelet aggregation, reducing the tendency of blood to clump and form microclots in the slow-moving vessels of your lower legs. Many people over 60 experience tingling and numbness in their feet from peripheral neuropathy, and one of the most common underlying causes is inadequate blood flow to the nerves themselves. By improving blood flow to these nerve-feeding vessels, capsaicin can reduce those neuropathic symptoms and support nerve regeneration over time. Ginger amplifies everything cayenne does through complementary mechanisms. The active compounds in ginger, particularly 6-gingerol, inhibit a molecule called thromboxane A2, which causes both platelet clumping and vessel constriction. At the same time, ginger stimulates the production of prostacyclin, a molecule that causes vasodilation and prevents clotting. So ginger is suppressing the constricting signal while simultaneously boosting the dilating signal. Research published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology found that ginger extract improved blood flow velocity specifically in the microcirculation, the network of tiny capillaries where oxygen is actually delivered to your muscle fibers. This is critical because the heaviness, the fatigue, the cramping, the cold feet, all of these are caused by failures at the microcirculatory level. To prepare this tonic, grate a 2-inch piece of fresh ginger and steep it in 2 cups of hot water for 10 minutes. Strain it, add 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne powder, add the juice of half a lemon, add 1 teaspoon of raw honey, and drink it warm. Drink it once daily in the afternoon when your legs typically feel their heaviest. Drink number 5 is green tea with lemon and cinnamon, and I chose this as the final drink because it addresses something the other 4 do not fully cover. Something that is quietly destroying the blood vessels in your legs every single day. That something is blood sugar. After 60, insulin sensitivity declines, and blood sugar spikes after meals become higher and last longer. Even people without a diabetes diagnosis often have blood sugar levels that remain elevated for extended periods after eating. And here's what that does to your legs. Glucose molecules in the blood react with proteins on the surface of your endothelial cells through a process called glycation. This creates compounds called advanced glycation end products, which are sticky, rigid, and deeply dysfunctional. They cross-link with the structural proteins in your vessel walls, making those walls stiff and inflexible, unable to dilate when your muscles need more blood. The vessels in your legs are especially vulnerable because blood flow there is already slower, meaning endothelial cells are exposed to elevated glucose for longer periods. Green tea contains a compound called epigallocatechin gallate that directly addresses this problem. It improves insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells clear glucose from the blood faster after meals. It also inhibits the digestive enzymes that break carbohydrates into glucose, reducing the height and duration of post-meal blood sugar spikes. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that green tea consumption significantly reduced fasting blood glucose and improved insulin sensitivity, with the greatest effects in people with elevated baseline blood sugar, which describes the majority of adults over 60. But epigallocatechin gallate does far more than manage sugar. It directly activates endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the same enzyme that produces your vasodilating nitric oxide, through specific cellular signaling pathways. So it is both protecting your endothelium from glycation damage and simultaneously stimulating it to produce more nitric oxide. There is one more mechanism of green tea that I find genuinely exciting. Your bone marrow produces special repair cells called endothelial progenitor cells that circulate through your blood, find damaged spots in your vessel walls, and patch them. After 60, the number of these repair cells declines, and the ones that remain are less functional. Epigallocatechin gallate has been shown to increase both the number and the effectiveness of these cells, enhancing their ability to migrate to damaged areas and restore full endothelial function. This is regenerative medicine from a tea bag. Adding lemon to your green tea increases the bioavailability of its active compounds by up to 300% by stabilizing them in an acidic environment. Cinnamon, specifically Ceylon cinnamon, adds its own insulin-mimicking effect and has been shown to directly relax vascular smooth muscle. Brew your green tea at around 170 degrees, not boiling, steep for 3 to 4 minutes, add the juice of half a lemon and half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, and drink it with meals 2 to 3 times daily. Use Ceylon cinnamon specifically, not cassia, as cassia contains compounds that can stress the liver when consumed daily over time. Here is the simple daily schedule that brings all 5 drinks together without overwhelming your routine. Start your morning on an empty stomach with beetroot juice, giving the nitrate time to convert and build before your day begins. Mid-morning, with a light snack, drink your first cup of green tea with lemon and cinnamon to begin managing blood sugar and stimulating nitric oxide production. With lunch, drink your cup of pomegranate juice, allowing the polyphenols to interact with your gut bacteria during active digestion. In the afternoon, when your legs feel heaviest from sitting, drink your ginger and cayenne tonic and feel the immediate warmth of increased circulation spread into your extremities. In the evening, wind down with 1 to 2 cups of hibiscus tea, allowing its blood pressure and blood viscosity benefits to work quietly through the night while your body repairs. These 5 drinks target 5 different mechanisms. Together, they create continuous circulatory support from the moment you wake up until the moment you sleep. Your legs have been carrying you through life for decades. They have taken every step, climbed every stair, and kept you moving through everything life has thrown at you. What they are experiencing right now is not an inevitable surrender to time. It is a correctable, reversible, biological problem with real, evidence-based solutions sitting in your grocery store. The blood vessels in your legs are not beyond help. They are dormant, waiting for the right signals to reawaken. Beetroot to flood them with nitric oxide. Pomegranate to protect and repair the machinery that makes it. Hibiscus to open the vessels and free up the flow. Ginger and cayenne to fire up the microcirculation immediately. Green tea with lemon and cinnamon to undo the sugar damage and rebuild from within. 5 drinks. 5 mechanisms. 1 goal. Give your legs what they have been starving for. They have been waiting long enough.